Hello and welcome to today's edition of The Exchange, brought to you by the New York Stock Exchange. And as a reminder, today's interview is for informational purposes only. The NYSE does not recommend investments or investment strategies. Now I'm joined live on the floor with Luke Oliver. He is the head of investment strategies at KraneShares. Luke, thank you for joining.
Thank you, Doug.
So you have a big event happening here at the NYSE today. Tell us all about it.
We do, and it's very timely. We have this thick smoke blowing down from Canada all over New York. So we're talking carbon, we're talking climate, and we're talking about an investment summit that focuses on the global opportunities being created by the energy transition. So note, I didn't say climate change. You can park politics, you can park your opinions on climate change, but what is happening is we have the Inflation Reduction Act. We have Europe's answer to that. We have a global price of carbon being established. We are moving in that direction. We are decarbonizing the global economy. It's going to create risks and it's going to create opportunities, and that's what it's all about.
So what should investors know right now?
So right now, you want to make sure you know three things. You want to be participating in the carbon markets, global price on carbon being established, 25% of markets covered. We'll cover 75%. Very important. Nobody has this in their portfolios yet, or very few. Secondly, you want to be in the right equities, so it's the transition equities. And thirdly, you want to make sure you're positioned in the right commodities. Which commodities are those? The commodities those companies are going to need to transition. Cobalt, lithium, and so on.
Okay, so today's event that you're holding, you're talking about carbon, the investments in carbon. Tell us, are there opportunities in that region? You know, how do we think about this?
Yeah, well, there's four major markets that are liquid. It's Europe, it's the UK, it's California, which is paired with Quebec. So, you know, California is fifth largest economy in the world. So it's not just the state, it's one of the largest economies in the world. Plus the northeast of the US, which makes up one of the other largest economies in the world. So major opportunities there. Now, we package four of those into an ETF called KRBN is the ticker. We also have a Europe only, KEUA, and California only, KCCA. And those three products give you access to be able to protect your portfolio from a rising price of carbon, or if you're a little more sort of forward thinking on where this price is going, actually go long. So what I mean by that is there are equities that you hold. We all hold equities. They are all going to be exposed to a rising price of carbon. So you almost need to, you're almost short in your portfolio. You need to put on some of this position just to neutralize the risk. And I think you should be long and take on a long position.
Okay, so we talked carbon,
Yes.
Now talk about metals. Where are the opportunities there?
Well, this is it. So we all see more Teslas on the road. We all see more solar panels on roofs. We know this is happening. The Inflation Reduction Act is spending about 360 billion to incentivize companies to shift. What are we seeing? A massive shortage of the key metals, lithium, cobalt, even copper. People think copper is well-established commodity. We are completely upgrading the global grid to take on everything being electrified. So massive demand for these metals, there won't be enough supply. It's not like oil, you just pump more oil. We cannot make enough lithium and cobalt to keep up with this demand. So massive price revaluation of those metals coming. That's what we do we have a ticker KMET, that gives you access to the 6 core metals that you'll need for this transition.
Okay, so now KraneShares, you're actually coming up on your 10-year anniversary
Yes.
here. You're a global investment strategist. Do you look out at the investment landscape? Are there opportunities in equities right now?
Absolutely. So I focus on climate investments, and we see a subset of equities that are going to do very well. And I think it's two subsets, in fact. It's one, you need to look for the transition names, the names that are going from dirty to clean. They're going to have huge impact, huge revaluations. So TBD, we will be bringing out some interesting products in that space. Secondly, you need to be at the other end of the spectrum. Which company? So that's invest in the problems and invest in the solutions. The solutions are going to be the EV companies, the battery companies, the companies that are creating the green technology that those other companies need to transition. So we have two tickers. One is KGRN, K Green, which is our Chinese green tech focused in, China spends 500 billion a year on renewables. The whole Inflation Reduction Act that everyone's freaking out about is 360 billion once. So put that into context. So K Green. And then cars, KARS, is focused on EVs, future mobility, battery technology. Great place to position. So we think that barbell between solutions and the problems that are being fixed is where the equity opportunity is.
And of course, all wrapped in ETFs, all listed at the New York Stock Exchange, and all brought to you by KraneShares.
That's right.
Now, as a reminder, let's say you're looking at any of the investment strategies that Luke talked about here today. You can go to etfcentral.com. You can type them in. Type in EV, or type in green, or type in carbon, and you're going to see an entire list of all the ETFs I covered. Or just frankly, type in KraneShares, easy to remember. Type in KraneShares in etfcentral.com. You'll see the entire list of ETFs, or go to KraneShares.com and learn more about their lineup. All brought to you by the New York Stock Exchange today, the home of ETFs.